So, hello students. Again, we are back with lecture number 10 of machine learning, where we are going to see another classification algorithm, a very efficient and very popularly used algorithm of classification technique, that is called KNN. Here, the KNN stands for K nearest neighbor algorithm. So, to know more about it, stay tuned to this lecture. So, first of all, let us just understand that what exactly is K nearest neighbor algorithm. See, in statistics, the K nearest neighbor algorithm is a non-parametric classification method which was first developed by Evelyn Fritz and Joseph Hodges in 1951, and later it was expanded by Thomas Cover. Now, it is used for classification and regression both, for the classification technique and for regression also. We have seen what is classification. In the coming few lectures, I'm going to tell you about regression also. Right. Now, in both the cases, the input consists of the k closest training examples in the data set. The output, however, it will always depend on whether this KNN is used for classification or it is used for regression. Now, in KNN classification, the output is a class membership. An object is classified by a plurality vote of its neighbors, with the object being assigned to the class most common among its k nearest neighbor, where k is just a positive integer which is typically taken to be small. Right. Now, if k is 1, then the object is simply assigned to the class of that single nearest neighbor. In KNN regression, however, that output is the property value for the object. Now, this value is the average of values of the k nearest neighbors. If we talk about KNN, it is a type of classification where the function is only approximated locally and all computations is deferred until function evaluation. Since this algorithm relies on distance for classification, if the feature represent different physical units or come in vastly different scales, then normalizing the training data can improve its accuracy dramatically. Both for classification and regression, a useful technique can be assigned weights to the contribution of the neighbor so that the nearer neighbor contribute more to the average than the more distant ones. For example, a common weighting scheme consists in giving each neighbor a weight of 1 divided by d, where d is the distance of the neighbor. The neighbors are taken from a set of objects for which the class, for KNN classification, or the object property value is known. Now, this can be thought of as a training set for the algorithm, through no explicit training step is required. A peculiarity of KNN algorithm is that is sensitive to the local structure of the data. So here, if you see, let us just understand it with a layman term. What is the simple analogy here? It is, tell me about your friends, who your neighbors are, and I will tell you who you are. Right. Now, see, the nearest neighbor, it depends on the analogy of knowing the neighbors. If the neighbors are depicting or they are, reflecting some kind of a properties, then on the basis of that, you are judged on the variables. Like, if a neighbor is, reflecting a specific type, I assume that even you belong to such kind of category. So your neighbors are the one who are going to decide that what kind of a person you are. This is a simple analogy of the KNN algorithm. It depends for reflecting and for extracting your features. It depends on your neighbors, whatever your neighbors are, or whatever properties they people are reflecting. On the basis of that, you are judged that even you reflect such kind of properties. Now, this is simply called instance-based learning, right? So this is what we call is instance-based learning. Even this KNN algorithm is called instance-based learning, where on the base of instances you are being judged, you are going to learn, right? So, if we talk further about this instance based learning, let me just make it clear to you that what exactly why we are relating or why we are calling the KNN algorithm to be instance based learning. See, the machine learning systems which are categorized as instance based learning or which are categorized to be reflecting KNN are those systems that learn the training examples by heart and then generalizes to new instances based on the similarity measure. Now, it is called instance based learning just because it builds the hypothesis from the training instances. Whatever it has learned from the training, it builds hypothesis on basis of that. It is, due to this reason, it is also called memory based learning because whatever, it has memorized from the past training, it applies on the same thing, right? Or you can say it is also called lazy learning. Now, the time complexity of this algorithm basically depends upon the size of the training data. The worst case type complexity in this case of the algorithm is ON, that is linear in nature, where n is the number of training instances. For example, if we were to create a spam filter with an instance based learning algorithm, instead of just flagging emails that are already marked as spam mails, our spam filter would be programmed also to flag emails that are very similar to them. Now, this requires a measure of resemblance between two emails. A similarity measure between two emails could be the same sender or the repetitive use of the same keyword or something else. Now, this is what we call is a instance-based learning that I told you. So, instance-based learning is just similar to that. Similar instance-based learning is based on whatever instances or whatever memories the machine had using some training data. On the basis of that, it is going to judge the further things, right? So as I told you, due to this reason, KNN has got different names. What it could be, KNN is the only name. Other than this, it is also known by these names, which is called the memory-based reasoning or memory-based learning. Then example-based learning, the examples that it has seen earlier in the training, it is going to apply the same. It is going to extract the features from the same. That is why we also call them example-based learning. Thirdly, we can call them instance-based learning, as I have already told it to you. And fourth one, it is called lazy learning. Why lazy? Because your machine is not making an effort, not making any attempts to learn something more about it, to extract something new about it. What it is exactly doing is it is just using the past used cases, past memorized cases only to apply to your object. It is not making any new efforts to extract something new. This is the reason why we call it lazy learning. Now, what exactly is KNN? So, when we talk about KNN, it is a very powerful classification algorithm which is used for pattern recognition. Now, what is pattern recognition? Pattern recognition is just finding out, a specific pattern out of a given text or out of something. Like, for example, if I, give a complete paragraph of English to you, and if I say that you need to, find out THE wherever you find a sequence of THE together in a consecutive manner, you need to find out. Now, this THE is considered to be a pattern, and what my system is going to do if I search this THE, like for example in Microsoft Word also you have a search option where what do? You can find the things by doing Control F. You can just find the pattern, whatever spelling you want to have. Now, if you in the find section you write THE, your system will consider THE as a pattern, and it is going to search the whole document for finding if there exists some kind of a pattern with the name THE. So this is basically pattern recognition. In case of text classification, this is pattern recognition. It could be anything else. Like let us assume if you are giving a fruit, a shape of fruit, a drawing of fruit. Now, similar to that, if my machine will find anything which is round in shape, which is red in color, it is soon going to recognize it at the similar pattern. So this is basically pattern recognition, and the KNN algorithm, the K nearest neighbor algorithm, is just meant for finding out or classifying the things on the basis of this pattern recognition. So for pattern recognition, we always use classification algorithms. Now, the second point says that k nearest neighbors store all available cases and classifies new cases based on the similarity measure. Obviously, as I told you, that it is also known as memory-based learning or instance-based learning. Due to why it is called, it is due to this fact that what does it do? It saves all the cases, whatever cases it encounters at the time of training. It saves all these cases into its memory to classify the new cases based on the similar cases which it has gone through. So as I told you, because I'm calling it a lazy learning algorithm. Why it is lazy learning? Because it's not making any new attempt, it is not making a new effort. What it is doing is, whatever cases it has encountered, it is saving each and every case. And as such, whenever a new case comes to it for recognition, what does it do? It compares that pattern with the already stored pattern inside its memory. So if it finds a similarity, approximate similarity with any of the cases, it recognizes the pattern. This is why I am calling it as a lazy learner or a memory based learning. And this similarity measure, when we talk about this similarity measure, what is it? It is exactly the distance function. In later slides, I'm going to tell you what is exactly distance function and how are we going to calculate the distances among the given objects. Right. Now, the third point says, one of the top data mining algorithms used today. K nearest neighbor is considered to be the top most used algorithm for data mining. As I told you, the text classification part and the different type of text mining, pattern mining, we use this K nearest neighbor, and it is one of the popular algorithm which considered and which is which proves to be a base part for the data mining part. However, there are other efficient algorithms which are there, which exist right now, but this KNN is considered to be the base comparison. It is considered to be the base mining algorithm, which can be applied to compare with the other algorithms. Then the last point says that a non-parametric lazy learning algorithm. I already told you, non-parametric lazy learning algorithm, we mean that it is not using a new parameters. It is based on whatever past cases it has already learned and whatever past cases it has already saved. Now, how does it classify? What is the approach of k nearest neighbor algorithm which it implements over the given classification problem? So understand, an object which we call is a new instance, right? Because it is an instance-based learning, we are calling a new object to be a new instance. It is classified by a majority of votes for its neighbor classes, right? Now, let us just assume that there is an object, and for that object I am now to decide that what kind of object is it, right? Now, on the basis of the neighbors, whatever neighbors are there around this object, I am going to do a election sort of thing where every neighbor is allowed to say that yes, this belongs to our category. Now the voting is done, and on the basis of the majority of vote, let's say there are two parties, there are two different classes, let's say class A and class B, and I need to decide. Here you can see this example, there is a dot symbol. Let us say this is a new object to me, I don't know anything about it, but because I am applying k nearest neighbor algorithm, I am completely based on the previous instances saved in my memory. I'm not going to make new extractions, no future extractions, no. I am just based on the previous experiences, on the previous data that I have already stored in my memory. So here, what happens is, let's say there is a class and there is a B class, right? Now I'll just make sure that each and every neighbor will vote for this particular new object, that whether it belongs to their class or that class, right? Now let's say that the first class, that is A class, has voted in that particular class. The instances who have voted that this new object belongs to us are only 3, and the other party, like let the other class be B, they are voting for this new object, and their total vote count is for this 4. Now, when we compare the votes of A with B, we'll find that the majority of the votes are on the B side. B here B, for B we have total 4 votes, and for A we have only 3 votes. So the majority always wins. That is why I am going to consider this new object to be of class B. So this is what K nearest neighbor does. We identify, or we make an object to be of particular class on the basis of the nearest parameter, like the distance parameter. So the object is assigned to the most common class amongst its k nearest neighbors, measured by the distance function. Now, how I am going to decide the distances among the objects? For this we have three different distance measures. One is called Euclidean distance, which is given by summation of all the x points minus y coordinates and making a square of it. Similarly, we can have Manhattan distance, which is doing again the square of x minus y and taking the mod of it. We'll only consider here the positive distances. We are not going to consider the negative ones. And similarly, there is a formula for Minkowski distance measure. Even we can use this Minkowski. So these are the three different distance functions that you can implement while you are using KNN algorithm. Now we'll consider distance between neighbors. How can we do that? Now we calculate the distance between the new example. Let us say we are calling it as capital E, and all examples in the training set. So what we are going to do is we are going to make, or we are going to calculate the distance from the new instance towards all the other objects which are residing. Like suppose if my object is lying somewhere at this point and all the other neighbors are residing here and there other points, what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate distance of my new point from here to each and every neighbor which is lying around it. So for measuring these distances, I can use all the three distance measures which I told you: the Manhattan, the Euclidean, and the Minkowski distance measure. So all of them can be used. Here you see equivalent or Euclidean distance between two examples. I can take it as, let's say my x are x1 till xn, and similarly my y's are from y1 to yn. So how do I calculate this distance? From 1 to n, I'm going to make the difference as xi minus yi. So the Euclidean distance between the x and y is defined as this. This is upon the dxy and the summation of xi minus yi. So this is the Euclidean distance which I can take from a particular object to the next object, where do remember this thing, that xi is what? X is the first coordinate of the element, and y is the coordinate from which we are making the distances. Now when we talk about k nearest neighbor algorithm, all the instances corresponds to the points in an n-dimensional feature space. Now each instance is represented with a set of numerical attributes. Each of the training data consists of a set of vectors and a class label associated with each label. Now, the classification is done by comparing feature vectors of different k nearest points. What you have to do is you have to select the k nearest examples to E in the training set, and then you have to assign E to the most common class among its k nearest neighbor. Here is an example. So when we talk about k nearest neighbor algorithm, the training examples are simply the vectors in a multi-dimensional feature space, each having a class label. The training phase of the algorithm consists only of storing the feature vectors and the class labels of the training samples, and nothing else. Only two things: the feature vectors and the class labels. In the classification phase, K, the k nearest neighbor, where we are talking about k, is a user defined constant. The user is entitled, the user is authorized to decide the value of k. So k is a user defined constant and an unlabeled vector. A query, it could be a query, it could be a test point, and it is classified by assigning the label which is most frequent among the k training samples nearest to that query point. A commonly used distance matrix for continuous variable is Euclidean distance. Whenever you are going to, find the distances among the continuous variables, this is the case where we specifically use Euclidean distance. Now, if in case you are using discrete variables such as for text classification, another metric can be used such as the overlap metric, which is also called the Hamming distance. In the context of gene expression, microarray data, for example, KNN has been employed with correlation coefficient such as a person and Spearman as a metric. Often this classification accuracy of KNN can be improved significantly if the distance metric is learned with specialized algorithms such as large margin nearest neighbor or neighborhood component analysis. A drawback of this basic majority voting classification occurs when the class distribution is skewed. That is, examples of a more frequent class tend to dominate the prediction of the new example, obviously, because we are not making any new predictions. We are only based on the recorded data sets or the recorded outputs that we have already seen in the training part. Now, because they tend to be common among the k nearest neighbor due to their large number, we always tend to dominate the prediction of these new examples. One way to overcome this problem is to weight the classification, taking into account the distance from the test point to each of its k nearest neighbor, the class or value in regression problem of each of the k nearest point is multiplied by a weight proportional to the inverse of the distance from that point to the test point. Another way to overcome this problem is by abstraction in the data representation. For example, in a self-organizing map, which we call SOM in capital, each node is a representative of a cluster of similar points, regardless of their density in the original training data. Now, KNN can then be applied to the SOM, that is, as I told you, SOM stands for self-organizing maps. Now you can see here the difference, the examples. I need to identify the class. Now what I have done is I have made the Euclidean distance. These are the Euclidean distance which I am using, right? Using this, I am going to find out the pattern. Distances from John. How I'm going to count the distances? Like suppose when I'm considering this particular example, this column, let's say this feature, age feature I'm considering here. This is the attribute or the feature that I'm considering. So if I want to find out the age for John, how would I do that? It is the distance I'll be finding out. That is, let's say 37 minus 35, which is 2, right? This is a case where I can go for then 35 minus 50 is the income part, and then the number of credit card 3 minus 2. This is how I'm going to find out the distance. So it comes out to be 15.6. Similarly, with Rachel, if I found, it would be 22 minus 37, 50k minus 50k, and 2 minus 2. So this comes out to be 15. So it is considered to be a bit in neighbor, right? Then when we count it with Steve, it is 63 minus 37, 200k minus 50k, and 1 minus 2. So it could not be just because it is coming out in a negative way, right? Then we can find out the distance from Tom and John. It is 59 minus 37, then 170 minus 50, and 1 minus 2. Similarly, with any, it is 25 minus 37, 40 minus 50, and 4 minus 2. So here you can see we have got only 3 cases. With the Rachel case, it is 15, and with any case, it is coming out to be, this, it comes out to be 122, and it is in the last, I'm coming out with this case, that is 15. So the nearest neighbor here it is 15. That is why, that is how I compare the object with the previous objects. Now, how can we choose k? As I told you that k is a user defined parameter. How are you going to choose your k for this? Now, if k is too small, it is sensitive to noise point. Larger k works well, but too large k may include majority points from other classes as well. So the rule of thumb is that k should be less than square root of n, where n is the number of examples, right? So this is an important formula, that your value of k should not be very small because you need to avoid the noise points, but your k should be a large value. How does it depend? We have figured out one formula where your k value should remain less from the square root of n, where n is the number of training examples that we are taking. So the best choice of k, it depends upon the data, right? Generally, larger value of k reduces effect of the noise on the classification. As I told you, the smaller the value, the more the noise, right? But make boundaries between the classes less distinct. A good k can be selected by various heuristic techniques. The special case where the class is predicted to be the class of the closest training example is called the nearest neighbor algorithm. Now, the accuracy of KNN algorithm can be severely degraded by the presence of noisy or irrelevant features, or if the feature scales are not consistent with their importance. Much research efforts has been put into selecting or scaling features to improve classification. A particularly popular approach is to use evolutionary algorithms to optimize feature scaling. Another popular approach is to scale features by mutual information of the training data with the training classes. In binary or the two-class classification problems, it is helpful to choose k to be an odd number, as this avoids tied votes. One popular way of choosing the empirically optimal k in the setting is via bootstrap method. Now here you can see this is KNN, where k is 1. It is 1 NN, and here it is KNN with 3. So you can see here the noisy sample. Every example in the blue shaded area will be misclassified as blue class. And similarly, if you take 3NN, every example in the blue shaded area will be classified correctly as the red class. So as much high your k would be, it would be more accurate in comparison to a lower values of k. Here you can see the 1 nearest neighbor, the 2 nearest neighbor, and the 3 nearest neighbor. How are they identifying the things? Now, KNN feature weighting. Now, it is a scale each feature by its importance for classification. Here, the Euclidean distance is used, but we have used the feature weighing here. It can use our prior knowledge about which features are more important and can learn the weights using cross validation that I'm going to cover later on. Now, how can we do the normalization of the features? Now, distance between neighbors could be dominated by some attributes with relatively large numbers. Example, income of the customers, or in our previous example, it was dominated by the fact, and arises when two features are in different scale. And it is important to normalize those features. So the mapping values to numbers between 0 to 1. Now, how we can use nominal and categorical data? The distances work naturally with numerical attributes, and binary valued categorical data attributes can be regarded as 1 or 0. Here you can see the example. So here, when we talk about the weighted nearest neighbor classifier, the k nearest neighbor classifier can be viewed as assigning the k nearest neighbor a weight which is 1 divided by k and all others 0 weight. This can be generalized to weighted nearest neighbor classifiers, that is, where the ith nearest neighbor is assigned a weight Wni, and analogous results on the strong consistency of the weighted nearest neighbor classifiers also hold. Now, talking about the properties, KNN is a special case of variable bandwidth kernel density balloon estimator with a uniform kernel. The naive version of the algorithm is easy to implement by computing the distances from the test examples to all stored examples. But it is commonly computationally intensive for large training set. Using an approximate nearest neighbor search algorithm makes KNN computationally tractable even for large datasets. Many neighbor search algorithms have been proposed over the years. These generally seek to reduce the number of distance evaluations actually performed. KNN has some strong consistency results. As the amount of data approaches infinity, the two-class KNN algorithm is guaranteed to yield an error rate no worse than twice the Bayes error rate, the minimum achievable error given rate, the distribution of data. Various improvements to the KNN speed are possible by using proximity graphs. This is how you're finding out the distances. Now let us just talk about the strengths of KNN and weakness of KNN. When we talk about the strands and the merits of the KNN, it is very simple and it is very intuitive. Then it can be applied to the data from any distribution. You can apply it on any kind of distribution. The good classification if the number of samples is large enough. So we are considering here that the number of samples, if we have a lot many huge data sample, then this KNN algorithms performs much better in this case. Now, when we talk about the weaknesses of KNN, it takes more time to classify a new example. It needs to calculate and compare distance from new examples to all the other examples. Choosing of k, the selection of k is very tricky because we cannot take a very small value and even we cannot take a very large value as well. So here the decision of taking the k value is considered to be very crucial, and it needs a large number of samples for accuracy. As we have already seen, I have told you that the KNN will perform accurately, it will perform efficiently only in the case if you have a huge data set, if you have a large sample of data. Now, if such a case is there when you don't have the availability of large samples, then you can question on the accuracy of the sample part, right? Now, one of the disadvantage could be that the classification cost here could be very high, and a large amount of memory is required to store the samples, the previously, recognized instances. As I already told you, that KNN is based on the previous instances. It is based on the instance learning. So that is why we need a lot of memory to store that data. And each query involves starting the identification of a local model from its scratch. When similarly we if we go for the advantage part, instead of estimating for the entire instance set, the local approximations can be made to the target function, and together with this algorithm can adapt to new data easily, one which is collected as we go. So now I'm going to conclude this algorithm k nearest neighbor which we have studied today. The k-nearest neighbor is one of the simplest machine learning algorithms based on supervised learning technique. Yes, why? Because it is based on classification, and classification is considered to be a supervised learning algorithm. KNN algorithm assumes the similarity between the new case or data and available case and put the new case into the category that is most similar to the available category. KNN algorithm stores all the available data and classifies a new data point based on the similarity. This means when new data appears, then it can be easily classified into a well-suited category by using KNN algorithm. KNN algorithm can be used for regression as well as for classification, but mostly it is used for the classification problems. KNN is considered to be a non-parametric algorithm. Which means it does not make any assumptions on underlying data. It is also called a lazy learner algorithm because it does not learn from the training set immediately. Instead, it stores the data set and at the time of classification, it performs an action on the data set. KNN algorithm at the training phase just stores the data set, and when it gets new data, then it classifies that data into a category that is much similar to the new data. So now the question comes that why do we need a KNN algorithm? So suppose there are two categories, that is category A and category B, and we have a new data point. So this data point will lie in which of these categories? To solve this type of problem, we need a KNN algorithm. And with the help of KNN, we can easily identify the category or class of a particular data set. We have seen the working of KNN algorithm, where I can now summarize it up with the help of steps, where the step number one would be that we need to first of all select the number of k of the neighbors. Second step says that we need to calculate the Euclidean distance of k number of neighbors. Step 3 will have to take the k nearest neighbor as per the calculated Euclidean distance. In step 4, among these k neighbors, we need to count the number of data points in each category. In step number 5, we assign the new data points to the category for which the number of neighbors is maximum. And lastly, step number 6 says our model gets ready at that particular time. So firstly, we will choose the number of neighbors. That could be upon you, that what value of k you are choosing. And as I told you, how you are going to select the value of k, there is no particular way to determine the best value of k, as I told you. So we need to try some values to find the best out of them. The most preferred value for k is 5. A very low value for k, such as 1 or 2, as I already told you, the low values will always, it can lead to the noisy data, and it can lead to the effects of outliers in the model. Large values of k are good, but even they can, generate some kind of difficulty. So the moderate values which normally are taken is 5. So here we come to an end of this classification algorithm, which is called k nearest neighbor. And now I'm going to quickly share the multiple choice questions with you on the basis of whatever learnings we had in today's lecture. So I'm just quickly sharing the slides with you. Just keep on learning and just think whatever we have learned today, just apply your learnings of today's lecture over the questions and try to give a correct answer. So here are the questions for you. The first question says, can an algorithm does more computation on test time rather than train time? So what do you think? Is it true or is it false? Then here is the second question. In the image below, which would be the best value for k, assuming that the algorithm you are using is k nearest neighbor? Is it 3? Is it 10? Is it 20? Or is it 50? You need to find out the correct answer. Hope you have found the correct answer here. Now let me quickly take you to question number 3. Which of the following distance metric cannot be used in KNN? Manhattan, Minkowski, Tanimoto, Jacquard, Manhal-Nobis, and all can be used. Now the fourth question says, which of the following option is true about KNN algorithm? It can be used for classification, it can be used for regression, or it can be used for both classification and regression. And let's see question number 5. Which of the following statement is true about KNN algorithm? KNN performs much better if all of the data have the same scale. Second, KNN works well with a small number of input variables but struggles when the number of inputs is very large. And third says that KNN makes no assumptions about the functional form of the problem being solved. So according to you, which one is the correct part? Is it 1 and 2? Is it 1 and 3? Is it only 1? Or all of the above are equally correct? Now we move on to the next question, that is question number 6. Now, which of the following machine learning algorithm can be used for imputing missing values of both categorical and continuous variable? Is it KNN? Is it linear regression? Or is it logistic regression? Now we have question number 7 with us. Which of the following is true about Manhattan distance? It can be used for continuous variable, it can be used for categorical variables, it can be used for categorical as well as continuous variable, or none of these. So you need to decide over this, that which category is considered to be correct. Now let's go for question number 8 here. What do you think? Which of the following distance measures do we use in case of categorical variables in KNN algorithm? So is it the when we are talking about categorical variables, which one is more suitable? Should we choose to have Hamming distance, or we should have Euclidean distance, or we should have Manhattan distance? So you need to decide upon the categorical data. Is it the first, or the option 2 is correct, or is it 3, or we can have both 1 and 2, we can have both 2 and 3, or all of them are correct. We can use all 3 of them for the categorical variables in k nearest neighbor algorithm. Quickly decide over this. We have already seen for which kind of, for continuous variable, what do we use, for discrete variables, what do we use, for categorical variables, what should we use. We have already discussed all these three things. Now it is your point to decide over these things. Now let me take you to the next set of questions, that is question number 9. Now, which of the following will be Euclidean distance between the two data point, that is A13 and B23? So here you need to apply the formula of Euclidean distance quickly. So quickly apply the formula. The values are already given to you. The xy coordinates of your points are already given. quickly apply the formula to find out the answer. So I hope you have calculated the distance already, which comes out to be 1. Now, let us take the last question, which is which of the following will be Manhattan distance between the two data points A and B? We have already seen the formula for Manhattan distance as well. Quickly calculate the Manhattan distance using the formula, and where you have been already given 2 points, 1, 3 coordinates for A point and 2, 3 coordinates for B point. Quickly find out the distance. So I hope you have already calculated the distance uh, using Manhattan formula. This is the result. That is 1. I hope in today's lecture you all were able to find out what exactly is K nearest neighbor algorithm, what are its merits, what are its demerits, what is the process of applying KNN algorithm over the large sample of data, what are its property and why we should use and in which scenarios we should use KNN algorithm. So I hope today's lecture was informative to all of you. In the coming lectures, I'm coming out with a more new and more efficient classification algorithm. So keep learning and stay tuned.